Dinosaurs are one of science's biggest mysteries. Judging by their body mass, here are the 10 biggest land-based carnivorous dinosaurs. Number 10. Acrocanthosaurus. The Acrocanthosaurus is also nicknamed the high-spined lizard and weighs as much as 7 tons. It was first discovered in 1940 in Oklahoma, where it measured 36 feet long. The animal is suspected to roam the Earth over 150 million years ago, and its high spine feature is a defensive mechanism to make it look larger. When it encounters a predator, their feet are relatively tinier for their vast body, and this could be because of their climate. This dinosaur is related to Allosaurus, but after a research study in 1980, scientists realized that it has the same build as a Spinosaurid. The latest revelation about this animal was in 2018, when researchers discovered they were similar to the Giganosaurus in South America. They are one of the few dinosaurs with a detailed brain structure. Their brain is S-shaped and both prominent olfactory lobes, suggesting they have developed a sense of smell. Number 9. Oxalea columbuses. The Oxalea columbus weighs about 8 tons and lived most of its life in water, feeding on fish. Little is known about this animal because only a few fragments of the dinosaur were found. The pieces of bone date back to 95 million years ago. When it was alive, it has a crocodile-like jaw that is so massive that it wouldn't have been comfortable living in water. If it had been living today, most theropods sniff twice before lowering their head and attacking their predator. But the features of this dinosaur show that it had another pattern. Their defense mechanism was a unique one. When they feel threatened, they send down a vibration throughout their body by shaking its head and body. Since this theropod is the largest known species in Brazil, it was discovered in the country in 2018. A massive fire burned down the museum where the fossils were kept. This has stalled further research into the animal. To this day, there have been no new findings of the remains of the animal. Number 8. Tarbosaurus. The Tarbosaurus was discovered among a 70 million year old rock formation. It measured 40 feet in length and weighed around 6 tons. The dinosaur is believed to be a relative of the American Tyrannosaurus rex. There are still controversies regarding the prehistoric animal because it has many similarities with the T-Rex. It is suspected that the T-Rex has a growth spurt during its teenage years, and it's not impossible for it to reach the size of a Tarbosaurus. While the former is called the king of North American dinosaurs, the latter was its equal in Asia. The name Pterosaurus is from a Greek word meaning amazing lizard. It is its size and deadly jaws and claws that earned it its name, despite its enormous size. It's one of the smallest on the list. However, it would have been a scare should it have existed in our time. Yes, they can easily shred a person into pieces in minutes after their paths cross. Number 7. Deinocheirus. The Deinocheirus lived on the planet as far back as 100 million years ago. The first fossil was discovered in 1965 when a pair of limbs were dug out from the Gobi Desert. The limbs measured 8 feet in length, and its claws were almost 8 inches long. In 2000, scientists discovered more skeletons and assembled them to realize a massive dinosaur. They were able to get a glimpse of what the animal looked like. Their findings showed that the animal had a thick scale-like spine that gave it a unique and exciting feature. Its razor-sharp teeth were also a feature that made it stand out. This dinosaur is considered the longest species in history, even though it isn't the largest since its mouth is small. Scientists concluded that they eat small animals like fish, fungi, and plants. It's believed that it didn't have reptile skin, but its flesh was covered with feathers like a bird, therefore it had more bird-like qualities than reptilian ones. The dinosaur had been featured in Jurassic World movies. Its closest depiction was in a 2018 movie where it was the center of attraction in a tournament, and its portrayal was indeed perfect. Number 6. Giganosaurus. The Giganosaurus weighs over 14 tons. It's the largest carnivorous dinosaur discovered in the 90s, although larger species have been discovered in recent times. The first ever fossil was found in Argentina and measured 42 feet long from head to tail, with its skull over 5 feet long. After a model of the animal was made, In 2011, scientists realized that these giants can't run over the speed of 19 miles per hour. If that was possible, it would lose its balance. It's safe to assume that if it lives in our day, you can watch it from your car, provided you're running over 20 miles per hour. Unfortunately, it may be impossible to outrun it due to its massive size. Scientists believe that Giganosaurus survived a large herd before dinosaurs thanks to its size. It didn't have natural predators. As opportunistic predators, they could kill live prey and scavenge when necessary. Number 5. Carnivorous. Egodensis, try pronouncing that one. It's a mouthful. This theropod measures 45 feet long and weighs over 15 tons. Therefore, it's one of the largest dinosaur species to exist. The animal roamed parts of North Africa about 100 million years ago. It has a serrated tooth like the giant white sharks, which inspired the nickname shark-toothed lizard. Like most ancient fossils, the Carnivorous egodensis remains were victims of World War II destruction. Since it was stored in the Munich Museum, its remains could not be saved during the bombing, but scientists are still trying to find fossils of the animal. Although this seems impossible, more information about the animal is revealed every day. This animal's remains were first discovered by Charles Depert Angers of Ornans in Algeria. Its name was because of its carcardine-like teeth. Even though very little is known about them, researchers may soon come up with the good news everyone is waiting for. Number 4. Spinosaurus. The Spinosaurus measures a whopping 22 tons and 52 feet in length. It has 7-foot-long spines that grew from its back until it developed into an enormous fin. Paleontologists described this gigantic creature as a spine lizard because it is believed to be the first that learned how to swim. It lived in swamps in North America 97 million years ago. Its main source of food is fish, which it eats with its razor sharps. Now, unlike most dinosaurs, it spends most of its time in the water rather than on land. While it is touted as being one of the largest, there are still debates on whether it's the largest man-eating dinosaur to live. Up until today, scientists still argue whether the animal was a semi-aquatic dinosaur, because recent studies show that they could not dive or dip their head underwater. All they do is keep their head above the water while paddling with their legs and arms. Their fin is an added support so that they're not exhausted while swimming. It's still unclear if they're amphibious, aquatic, or crocodilian. Number 3. Barosaurus, first discovered in Egypt. The Barosaurus roamed the earth about 95 million years ago. Ernest Stormer first introduced the animal in 1935, where it was said to have 3 toes on the arms and legs. It resembles a T-Rex, but it's smaller than one. Studies say it weighs up to 4 tons to 9.5 tons with a height between 16 to 40 feet. It also has a cropped-up spine that reaches its head and neck. The bones were kept at the Munich Museum, which was unfortunately destroyed in World War II. To this day, there have been no discoveries of the Barosaurus. The Barosaurus reproduce sexually like other dinosaurs and were involved in raising their young. The theropod was an effective communicator, and they communicated via auditory and visual means. They were notorious for engaging in fights with other species. As for speed, they run at 18.6 to 24.9 miles per hour. This means they were fast enough to destroy anything that posed a threat to them. Number 2. Megalosaurus. The Megalosaurus is an extinct species of a giant carnivorous theropod that lived in southern England during the Jurassic period. That is, it existed over 165 million years ago. The animal walked on its hind legs and used its tail as balance. As a fearsome predator, its prey included sauropods and the Stegosaurus. It was first discovered in parts of England and France. It was one of the earliest dinosaurs to be named by English paleontologist Richard Owen. It measures about 30 feet long and weighs approximately 3.5 tons. The Crystal Palace exhibition in 1851 was one of the earliest world fairs to feature animal exhibitions. Visitors were able to behold the full first-size dinosaur like the Megalosaurus and Iguanodon. Therefore, it became one of the earliest dinosaurs to be displayed in public. For a dinosaur with the root name Mega, you'd expect it as the biggest species on the block. Researchers say that it's half the length of the T-Rex and 1/8 of its length. Despite being one of the most popular dinosaurs, it's also the most misunderstood. Number 1. Tyrannosaurus rex. You've heard a lot about the T-Rex, and it's high time you get all the details. This dinosaur has been featured in many films to this day. It's a famous figure in the world of adventure, even though the last time it was alive was 66 million years ago. It's said to measure 10 tons in weight and stands over 40 feet tall. There has been a lot of debate on whether or not it's the largest known species. There's been no definite answer to this puzzle, but scientists agree it's one of the largest. The first one discovered was called Scotty, and it had an injury on its tail jaw and ribs. The marks were believed to be a bite from another T-Rex. Since they were territorial predators and fought others for food, it's easy to reach that conclusion. This dinosaur has an extreme bite force and can open its jaws to almost 80 degrees, though its mouth is not as big as the Allosaurus's. Its bite is fatal. Its skull is similar to the crocodile with openings called the fenestra. The openings help lighten the skull's weight, giving the animal the right balance to stand on his legs.